What is going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo, and today we are going to talk about a very strange slash interesting topic, which is why I didn't go to college. Someone asked me this question on a live stream this past weekend, and so it kind of sparked the idea for this video in my mind. What you're looking at here is Crysis 3 multiplayer. A lot of people have been saying, hey, Ghost, play some Crysis 3 multiplayer. And so this is my first full game for you guys. I start off a little bit slow. The controls are just completely different from playing like Black Ops 2 multiplayer or anything like that, and just the pacing in the game. So, yeah, hope you enjoy. It's still a fun time, and I get a good string of kills in here with my lowly little level 1 or 2 prophet or whatever the heck he is. Anyways, why I didn't go to college? You know, a lot of people, I guess, who followed me from the very beginning probably know more of this story than the other people, but or the new people, my new friends. But I'll just start from the beginning, which is I graduated high school in 2008, and I traveled all over to visit colleges. I got some pretty hefty scholarship offers from USC and from the University of Miami in Florida. Two gorgeous schools, gorgeous campuses, gorgeous locations. I mean, Coral Gables, Florida is beautiful, and like LA, California area, and not directly there is beautiful, but Southern California as a whole is really gorgeous. So two great schools. I also applied and visited a bunch of top tier schools out east: Harvard, Yale, Columbia, Haverford, a couple small liberal arts schools that I was interested in. And ultimately, it came down to USC for me as my favorite school. And the reason was they seemed the most progressive, the most upbeat, the most fun, that they would have the most opportunity for me to pursue interesting, engaging, and forward-moving, active things. Even though I loved quite a bit about some of those other, quote, Ivy League top-tier schools, Yale and stuff like that, they were so entirely focused on academics, and I didn't see myself ever sitting in a classroom and studying for the rest of my life. I wanted to do something that kind of branched out more into the creative fields. I mean, I'm sure you can imagine this is before YouTube even was an idea in my head. This is before I knew anything about commentary. I didn't even know people did this for a hobby even. So my ideas were either I wanted to go into like sports management, something like that, because I loved basketball. I wanted to go into like creative writing and not be like an author, but somehow move that towards movie making or game design or something of that nature. Or I thought I wanted to go into like game design type stuff. And so I applied to these schools and I got in and blah, blah, blah. But I knew I was going to take a gap year. When I was 18 graduating from high school, I felt like I was 16. I just moved from California. My family was sort of all out of sorts. So I was pretty much hell-bent on taking a gap year. So I don't even really count that application process. It was just to get my foot in the door and see what I could do. So I took a gap year that first year, and gosh, I could make a whole series of videos about what I did. And I worked for a minor league basketball team, blah, blah, blah. The point is, I wasn't really fully engaged in going to these schools. I never was excited by the whole freshman experience. I didn't want to go and get drunk in the dorms. I didn't want to go and meet a ton of girls. I didn't want to get away from my family. In fact, I loved my brothers. Jake, my younger brother, is my best friend in the world. So I sort of struggled with finding a justification to go. And it wasn't until I got into USC's Cinematic Arts School, their game design program, actually 2 years down the road, that I was like, gosh, I really want to go. And they flew me out for a big scholarship competition, and I was really impressed with their school and what they had, and it seemed really great. They have quite the facilities for movies, for games, for all that stuff. One of the most progressive and technically, ranked the best game design school program in the country or the world. They have quite a bit of funding from big names in Hollywood, of course, in that area, and just a lot to offer. Now, me being me, I get bored very easily, and I had enough AP credits to basically wipe out all of my general ed requirements, which was nice. But still, the first year you had to take a lot of very basic classes I wasn't too engaged in. I had this vision of grandeur that I would somehow be designing games year one, and I guess I went there, even when I went there to the scholarship competition, I flew out there in my mind thinking I would start off doing this and not realizing that the first year or two would be coding and learning and very rudimentary things, while also taking a bunch of classes that weren't even directly related. And, in my silly mind, I wanted to just focus in on the game design and be like, I don't care about the other stuff, because frankly, like, the idea of a degree isn't the most important to me. It was more the idea of acquiring this knowledge and being exposed to new and exciting things, and mostly networking. I wanted to really network with a bunch of cool people. And so I was kind of already at this seesawing, balancing act of like, will guys, I get bored so easily. I'm really fast and really easily tired with things, and you know, high school was one of the most annoying things to me. I mean, I like being with other people, and I like sports a ton, like favorite thing in the world ever, team sports in high school, but the daily grind of like homework and tests and stuff, like it's not that it was so time consuming for me. Trust me, it's very easy. I ended up with like, I think, a 4.4 overall cumulative GPA. I'm not bragging in any way, just I'm blessed and lucky that my mind works in a way that is able to process and go through information very quickly. But I didn't really want to go to college just to sit there and study. I didn't have any really good friends because, again, I moved from California in between my junior senior year, so I met all new people here in Indiana, and I didn't really fall in love with any of them, you know, in a theoretical sense, not actual love, but I didn't really have any close friends at all, so there was no one to go off to college with, or any motivation beyond myself and forwarding my own goals and achievements, which weren't very set in stone at that point. You know, there was another side of it too, which is that I have a very specific and sort of self-imposed strict diet and lifestyle regarding health. I was born with 2 missing immunoglobulins. My body has always been weaker than the average. I always have gotten sick more easier and more tired. Just all sorts of things. And I don't mean that to sound like I'm some, you know, vegetable who can't do anything. I clearly play tons of sports. I clearly have tons of energy. I clearly am fine. But one of those things where, you know, if everyone was getting a cold, I would get a cold and get it worse. So when around 7th grade, we changed our whole family's diet to support this, and it made a huge difference, and it has ever since. And I rarely get sick now, and praise whatever, the healthy food gods, because it has made a huge difference in my life. But the you know, bad side of that, or the other side of the coin, I guess, is that there was no way I was going to be able to be in a dorm and eat the cafeteria food. It just wasn't going to work, and I wasn't willing to make that sacrifice to my health and my personal well-being just for the college experience. So I was going to have to be in an off-campus apartment, which already took me away from one of the main things I wanted, which was like friends and networking. And I'd have to cook all my own stuff, and just all these like added stressors that normally, you know, you sign up, book, and go. And I had all these things to worry about, getting special exceptions, blah, blah, blah. And so it became a very tedious and kind of grueling process where it didn't seem to fit perfectly. And me being a perfectionist, I wanted it to, and it clearly wasn't. And I probably should have let it go and just given it a test. Now, YouTube came around in 2010, and it started off for about a year as just kind of a hobby slash job to get me through. In mid-2011, I think my entire family realized that this was going to be a bigger deal than any of us anticipated when I first started. You know, I had 20, 30,000 subscribers. LA Noire really kicked off, and this was something that I could sort of put my entire mind, body, heart, soul behind and push fully as a full-time, you know, I don't even like to, it is a full-time job, but more like a full-time thing to do, you know, as a viable alternative to college. And so I still was very torn because I wanted to go to this game design program. I just didn't want to deal with the first couple of years. And ultimately, the school was a bit concerned that I would be able to manage both YouTube and their programs. I don't know why. I assured them that I could do it whenever I wanted. I could do it at 2 in the morning or 2 p.m. or fit it around my schedule however I wanted to. But they weren't so certain. And on that token, I was a little bit, you know, like, okay, fine. If you don't think that it can work, I thought they'd find it super cool. You know, I thought, especially game design program, man, they'd be just jonesing to have a YouTuber in their classroom. But apparently they thought it would be a distraction for myself, I guess, and that I would not be the kind of candidate wanting to finish the program. And, you know, that thought did cross my mind. If I went there for a year or two and gained some knowledge, met some cool people, I really, like I said, I wasn't attached to getting a degree. I wasn't attached to finishing it out. I wasn't attached to being there. And now where I stand is even in a weirder place because, you know, I'm what, God, 4? I'm 5, no. I graduated in 08, so 09, 10, 11, 12. I'm almost 5 years removed from high school. In a couple months, I'll be 5 years removed from high school, which seems so crazy because I feel like I just graduated like 2 years ago. But I'll be 5 years removed from high school. And still in my mind, I like have this kind of part of me that wishes I went and it kind of still wants to go. And an idea my mom proposed, which I thought was kind of interesting, was why don't you just on the side do undergrad like online quickly, blah, blah, and then go into some graduate program somewhere where hopefully it'll be more specialized and you can interact with people that would be more in your interest areas and, you know, there would be no age gap because it's basically like I just skipped out of the undergrad. And that's an idea that I'm still kind of kicking around. Right now, there is 0% plan on pursuing that. But it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to not have gone to college. Great perks. No student loans, no homework. I've basically had a 5-year summer. I make my own schedule. I can eat, sleep, do whatever, whenever I want, wake up, and that's pretty darn awesome, especially now that I'm do YouTube. I don't really report to anybody, which is a great feeling, and at the same time, I still kind of, in the back of my mind, like, as you get older, you don't realize that you're getting older, and I'm sure people my age or older can, like, attest to this. Like, you don't realize that you're growing, and things are passing you by. It just sort of, at least in my mind, seems like I have opportunity and possibility forever, and yet that will slowly and surely go away, and I won't have a chance to go to college, or, I'll be some creepy 40-year-old man at college. So I guess I have to make a decision on that, but I'm still not sure, because there is an allure for me to learn that game design stuff specifically, or the movie stuff. I really have kind of a passion for that, and it has yet been fulfilled. YouTube fulfills it in a certain way, but it's a totally different aspect. So I could go on for hours. I think this gameplay is wrapping up. I hope you enjoyed. That is basically, in a nutshell, why I didn't go to college. There also was the part of my family needed me for support, but I was trying to focus on my reasons, not the outside reasons. I didn't not really want to leave them across country. I didn't really want to be that far away from them, especially in kind of a moment of familial crisis. But the most part of it all was just my own conundrums in my head. Hope that was interesting for you guys. Some insight into my life and my decision to not go to college as of yet. I guess it's still a possibility that we will entertain at least for a couple more years. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did and like these kinds of videos, hit that like button, add your favorites, show some love. I would appreciate it. Till next time, everybody, drink some hot chocolate, and we will see you all later.